Call the member for Riverstone.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I want to start by saying how proud I am to be part of a government that listens and takes actions. We are a government that accepts its responsibilities, especially when building infrastructure in growth areas. During my time as a member for Riverstone, I hosted various ministers for what has become fondly known as Warren's Magical Mystery Tour. Driving from my electorate in Stanhope Gardens through the tranquil suburbia of the Ponds, delivered under the last Labor government, we turn onto Schofields Roads towards the iconic arches of the Tullawong Metro platforms. It's here where the tranquility is shattered. As we prepare to turn right onto Cudgegong Road, the horror of inept planning decisions made by the former Liberal government is laid bare and usually invokes a sharp intake of air by my ministerial passengers. On the left-hand side of the street, parked cars fill every available surface, including the car park, street and the few remaining paddocks. Commuters can't afford to be fussy. They must park wherever they can or continue on their journey down Windsor Road. To the right, high-density housing fills the skyline in what was once farmland. It instantly becomes obvious that no one in the previous government had considered the damage that poor planning would do to the surrounding suburbs and the roads or the people who live there. The daily struggle intensifies with each passing metro station. Tullawong's car park buckles at 7 a.m, Rouse Hill only has the shopping centre car park, and Kellyville is usually full by 8 a.m. Roads morph into a barely crawling mass, a daily purgatory for desperate commuters. It was no secret that the Northwest Growth Area would undertake massive growth. Projections suggested it would see the largest population in the state. However, an over-reliance on private development and a failure to deliver public infrastructure shows an obvious lack of foresight by those opposite. Their flagship infrastructure project, the Northwest Metro, adequately services well-established blue ribbon suburbs. However, when you get to my neck of the woods, the service delivered falls short, literally 2.7 kilometres short of connecting to the T1 line in Schofields. The unacceptable 2.7 kilometre gap between Tullawong Station and City Rail at Schofields limits the ability of people catching the T1 from Hawkesbury to get to the Metro, so they drive. At Riverstone Station, the cancellation of the rail duplication has left a single line restricting train services to a pitiful 30-minute interval during peak hours. No express services on the heavy rail service means residents are increasingly opting for Tullawong Station due to its faster metro service, causing overwhelming congestion in the station's car parking facilities. Residents from under-resourced new growth area suburbs such as Mellinbah, Marsden Park, Pitt Town, Oakville, Box Hill, Rouse Hill and the Gables and the northern parts of my electorate are forced to undertake long drives to access reliable train service. Speaker, this situation is untenable and it reflects a failure in planning and a disregard for the daily reality of our citizens. I say regularly, I'm sorry I didn't cause this, but we'll do our best to fix it. For my constituents, the symptom of no parking at Tullawong Station is that the multi-level car park promised by the previous government was not delivered, and the one that was is more than 500 spaces less than it should be. On-demand services that address the last mile transport are now ineffective due to the burden of population growth with no strategic plan considered. Local buses will help with the last mile, but from surrounding suburbs, but that's only part of the problem. A larger problem is the residents from our neighbouring suburbs who are forced to make the daily exodus to find employment elsewhere, choking local roads in search of adequate transport to get there. In the Northwest Growth Area, it was designed with a strategy, with planned roads and infrastructure, and most significantly, an employment precinct to eliminate the need to travel somewhere else for work. But all but three of the growth area projects have been rezoned, and the population has exploded without anything to support the people living in the houses. I'll say it again. We didn't cause this, but we'll fix it. I'm confident that this government will end the neglect faced by my community under the last government. 12 years of failure cannot be undone in a year. It would be naive to think so. This government has already committed generous funds to the Riverstone electorate to get infrastructure back up to speed, and I will continue to advocate for more. It's my vision to see Riverstone again offer adequate local employment for residents, which is at the heart of any livable city. With employment opportunity projects such as Riverstone West Precinct and Riverstone Town Centre, many of the current issues faced will be significantly alleviated. A holistic approach to securing local employment hubs and robust and future-proof housing will ensure the best future for the families of Riverstone. We can fix it, but we must never forget what has been done to the lives of the hundreds of thousands of residents. We must learn from the mistakes of the previous Liberal government so that it never happens again.